Good afternoon. My name is Arnaz James, and on behalf of In-House Entertainment Group, I would like to welcome you. Today I have the privilege of having a very, very inspiring guest, Mr. Terry Angel Mason. Thank you, brother, for stopping by. We're going to get into your life just a little bit and then let you tell us the rest. Is that okay with you?
That's okay. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Terry Angel Mason is an internationally acclaimed author, columnist, Pulitzer nominee, keynote speaker, poet, singer, songwriter, minister, and civil rights activist. He currently resides in Southern California. He is also the author of 4 very popular books. Love Won't Let Me Be Silent, They Say That I Am Broken, Get on the Raw Road to Riches, and The Dream Keeper, which is set to be released in 2012. Angel Mason, as he's preferred to be called, is a revered leader and a global change agent with a momentous quest. He is constantly being praised and commended by the international community for inspiring, educating the world while promoting love and acceptance for all people. Angel has been featured in numerous national and international magazines, news publications, and in addition is being featured on numerous radio and television broadcasts. Now that's just a glimpse of who Terry Angel Mason is. But we have one of the books that he allowed us to share with the world. And the title of this book is Love Won't Let Me Be Silent. Mr. Angel Mason, we thank you for giving us the book. We thank you for giving us your time. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thank you. What a great introduction, my goodness.
I try to do my best. Tell us a little bit about the book, some background.
Well, this was really, people think this is my first book, but actually, Arnaz, I have written about 20 Christian books prior to this. This is the first book that I wrote, which went global. So this book is now sold in every country in the world, and it is it's on its way now to becoming a bestseller. And it is it just was like it was something that launched my career in the literary world.
Well, what makes this book, in the writing, in the storytelling, compelling?
Well, it tells us, first of all, I was discouraged that there are so many things on television and in media that portray same-gender loving people in a negative way. And so I wanted to, one of my goals in that book was to create poetry and stories that I feel properly portrayed same-gender loving people, especially African American and Latino people.
So would you be saying that you gave some legitimacy
Yes.
to how we view same-sex couples?
Exactly, as opposed to all of these stereotypes that distort that image, distort what is really true.
I understand. Once again, Love Won't Let Me Be Silent. Look for it in your local bookstore. Tell me, Mr. Mason, tell me about the author.
Oh, wow.
Do you know that man?
I think I know him pretty well.
Tell us all about him.
I began, Arnaz, as a singer. I started singing when I was 5, and I was called into ministry at 8 years of age. When I was baptized, I felt a call for ministry on my life literally at 8. I, of course, developed in school, and I had a lot of teachers. One particular teacher whom this book is dedicated to, she was my English teacher, and she was the first person to actually get my writings published. In junior high school, I wrote several poems which are published during that time.
You know, Mr. Mason, as I get to know you, there are millions and millions of viewers outside of this studio right here that I'd like for you to just tell them what makes your writing viable and publishable.
Well, I think that I have a lot to say in regards to, as I stated, how same-gender loving people should be viewed. But in addition to that, my book also talks about the African American church's relationship with same-gender loving people. It talks about HIV/AIDS, which is a real problem today, not just in the LGBT community, but certainly in the heterosexual community. I talk a lot about how to resolve problems, and I help parents in the book to know how to minister, to relate to their children, their son or daughter, if they find out that they are gay. But there's a lot of things in the book that have nothing to do with that. There's a lot of things in the book that talk about building healthy relationships. Overall, it doesn't matter what your preference is.
Okay.
And I have a very popular piece in there called "Don't Walk Past Your Miracle," which is something that anyone could read, which will help you to not only discover the person you're looking for, but not to walk past that blessing and miss them altogether.
Well, that would be a tremendous waste.
It sure would.
Tell me, Mr. Mason, about the routine of writing, your particular style. Tell us, we want to go in depth.
Well,
I'm
really a poet. Now, the amazing thing is that I am also a columnist, and I write for about 30 newspapers.
Yes, sir.
But I don't have a journalism background.
You do not?
I do not. And I am a communications and a music major. I went to Pepperdine University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
However, I never thought I'd end up writing for as many magazines and newspapers that I currently do.
Yes, sir.
I think the reason that my articles, and I'll start there and then digress, my articles are so popular is because I just talk from my heart. I tell the truth. I don't embellish the truth.
Yes, yes.
And I think that people identify with the articles because they just come from the heart. They are what's going on.
Yes,
and
yes.
they expose what is not the truth.
Let me ask you this. How personal was your writing? Would you say your writing is?
Very. And Love Won't Let Me Be Silent, I have two very personal stories. One is, of course, about my brother Daryl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He promoted Madonna's first album,
yes, sir.
which went platinum. It talks about his life, and additionally talks about my godmother, who was reared by Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
And so those are very touching stories. Talks about my life as a teen,
yes.
what I went through in the black church, dealing with being a same-gender loving person, how Jesus not only came into my life, not only filled me, but brought me through that very tedious period that all teens go through who are same-gender loving people, who even consider suicide.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you just heard it, but you're right from your experience.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. Which comes first in your routine of writing, the story or the character?
Well, it depends on what I'm writing now. Okay. I'm really a songwriter as well, and so that's how I kind of transition from poetry into songwriting. And so anything can inspire me. A young man yesterday just emailed me and asked and shared with me something that just really touched me, and that whole email inspired me to write something. So you
find your inspiration in various ways, in various places.
Absolutely. In my new book, they say that I'm broken. There is the photographer who did all the work in that book. She took a picture the wrong way. She misinterpreted what I was asking her to do. But the picture was so amazing until it inspired me to write a piece which I absolutely love, but that never would have happened
without her. Is there any other projects or snippets you like to inform the world about?
Yes. They Say That I'm Broken, which is my next book, will be out in about a couple of months. It has been now reviewed by magazines worldwide.
Yes.
And you can go to my website at www.terryangelmason.com, and you'll see the reviews from that book and also from
one more time, Mr. Mason. Give that web address to our audience.
It is www.terryangelmason.com.
Amen. For those who inspire to write, who inspire to be poets, who inspire to communicate, what are some of the small beginning things, rules, that you would ask them to be concerned about to endeavor in a writing career?
First of all, I would say don't wait to be discovered for any for any dream.
Yes.
Here's what I did for years, and I think it held me back. Don't wait to discover, be discovered, discover yourself. And that is why I initially self-published my first book. I wanted to again get a message out to the world that I felt wasn't there.
Okay.
When you write, I get asked this question all the time. When you write, the first thing I tell people is do not try to edit when you write. It will zap all your creative abilities. When you start to write anything, just write it. I often, when I'm dealing with my editors, when I'm dealing with my publicists, I always stop them and I always say, let me get the idea out first.
I understand.
Because if we get the idea out first, then we can work on forming. It's like clay. If you can get
the rough draft.
Yeah, if we can get the idea out. And so when you're writing, you want to first get that idea out, and then later you can go back and do what you need to do or have an editor edit it.
I have to ask this question. Out of the books you've already written, out of the books that are already published, would you go back and change anything?
I would, to be honest with you, I would go back and change Love Won't Let Me Be Silent. Not so much the content of it, but the way perhaps the book was laid out.
Okay.
But the good news is that in They Say That I'm Broken,
yes,
I got a chance to, I learned from doing the first book, so I got a chance to really make the changes in the second book that I felt that the first book should have had.
So is it safe to say you're right where you're supposed to be?
Yes.
One more question.
All right.
If you can have dinner, any place, at any time, who would you have dinner with?
It would be with Dr. Martin Luther King.
Dr. Martin Luther King?
Yes.
Would you please explain?
The reason, especially now more so than ever, the other evening I was on a radio broadcast here in Los Angeles. The radio broadcast was because of the bill that Governor Brown recently signed into law. It's called SB 48. And what it does, the bill says to educators they cannot discriminate against blacks, they cannot discriminate against Latinos, they cannot discriminate against people who have disabilities, they cannot discriminate against people who are in the LGBT community. Their contributions cannot be omitted from history. And so I was on this radio show because one of the ministers was rallying the black ministers in the city to vote against the bill. And it is often said in the black community that Martin Luther King would not support civil rights for LGBT people. And I would love to sit down and have a conversation with him because I know that he in fact would. I even have a piece in Love Won't Let Me Be Silent where I rewrote his speech.
Is that right?
Yes. I rewrote his I Have a Dream speech, which is included in Love Won't Let Me Be Silent. So it would just be a great thing to sit down and to pick his brain and see
what I hear you communicating is it is not about the idea of right and wrong. It's about allowing a person to have the right to stand up for what they believe. Am I correct?
And civil rights is not something that a lot of people think the LGBT community hijacked the civil rights movement, which of course is crazy, because civil rights don't belong to any race. Civil rights don't belong to any one gender.
Yes, sir.
Civil rights belong to all of us. And had that not been true, Martin Luther King could not have prevailed in reversing and eradicating Jim Crow laws and all of the things that keep us as African Americans from having what we rightfully. He stood on that platform that civil rights is something every human being deserves.
As you guys can see, he's locked in. Mr. Mason, just before we let you go today, is there anything that you would like to express, anything that you would like to talk about and allow the world to be informed of before we end today's broadcast?
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Arnaz, we have several African American parents in the Los Angeles community. And if you're out there today and you have a son, a daughter, or a relative, and all of us do, someone that's same gender loving, and you perhaps go to church and maybe your pastor, your bishop, your priest has told you that person is going to hell, that person is living a sinful lifestyle, I would recommend that you go to my website. There is a link on my website, and it's called Lord, My Child is Gay. What Do I Do? It's also an excerpt in my book, Love Won't Let Me Be Silent. And by the way, you can upload that excerpt free from my website. It's no cost for it, but it will help you to understand your child. It'll help you to deal with your feelings. It'll help you to properly minister to your child, not alienate them, because there's so many homeless LGBT youth out here today because parents have thrown them out, and that only it opens them up to HIV and so many other things. It does. And so I would say to you parents that God loves all of his children. He did not make any mistakes when he made us, but we need to open our heart and mind, and we need to become educated.
Amen.
One of the things the African American church does not do is we don't educate ourselves, and we need to educate, and we need to begin to understand why our child thinks this way, why our child behaves this way, why our child feels this way, and to not think that that child is just rebelling against a quote-unquote heterosexual lifestyle because they are who they are.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure today to welcome this prolific author, Mr. Terry Angel Mason. On behalf of the In-House Entertainment Group, thank you, brother. You know the door is always open for you, so when you fly back in, stop in and we'll get another interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arnaz.